Alright, for my stand, I'm going to have a bunch of half-lap joints, but the overall width is going to be 48 inches. The height of the 2x material is going to be 15 1/8 inch with 3/4 inch plywood on top and 3.5 inches for casters on the bottom. Total height from the floor to the bottom of where the saw is going to sit, 19 3/8 of an inch, and my depth that way is 29 inches deep. So I've got a little materials list, and I'm just going to use my miter saw to get everything cut out real quick. Alright, as usual with these half-lap joints, I just made a test fit. It works out really good. So I'm going to run through all my pieces. All my short pieces, my 15 1/8 inch pieces, and then also my 4-foot pieces. I'm going to run through both ends of those. The 29 inch pieces, I'm going to run them a different kind of half-lap. It's going to be vertical as opposed to horizontal. For my middle half laps, I've done the same thing as I've done previously. I've taken a piece of 3.5 inch 2x stock, and I've cut the kerf, whatever width that dado blade is, I've cut it against one side, and that will allow me to stop block where I start, and then I'm just going to use the fence to stop my cut. Now I've already made one test pass, and it fits together pretty good, so I'm going to go with that. And you can start to see the shape of this thing. It's just going to be not that tall, and 3 half laps on top and bottom, and then of course the depth. So I'm going to get these cut out, and then we'll go from there. Alright, so here's where planning pays off and the lack of planning kicks you in the butt. My original plan was, let me back up. This is the frame, bottom, top, and in the middle is where my dust collection was going to be. On the router side, I'm going to have this blast gate and an elbow going to the table saw. Table saw, blast gate, and a T accepting the router and then going off to the exhaust on one side. But as you can see, this is my little plate that I'm going to use for the router, and it's going to be pretty much flush with this top surface because it's going to be mounted on the bottom side of the 3/4 inch plywood that's going to be mounted right here. So if I set it up like so, then I have no room to reach in for my blast gate, which is actually going to be going this way. I have no room to reach in because it's going to interfere with the frame, so I have to drop it down a little bit. So I'm going to use a little piece of pipe as a spacer, and blast gate's going to be somewhere, I guess somewhere right here. And here's where I run into a dilemma. My depth pieces were going to be half-lapped like so. They were going to be half-lapped this way, so that way I get a little bit of vertical support, kind of make it a little bit less likely to rock this way. But I'm not going to be able to because I'm running out of height. So I think what I can do is run my half laps horizontally and it'll just be in the same location. It'll be a dual half lap on each spot. Basically the same way I did the router table base. So I gotta back up a little bit and cut some different half laps than I originally intended. But I think it's all going to work out, and it's all going to be worth it in the long run. The assembly is just a typical half lap, lots of glue, and I'm going to use 3 screws per joint. Just like the router table stand, I'm going to space my screws to the inside of every half lap joint. Reason being is I'm going to remove material on the top and bottom side for the depth pieces. Next, we got to cut out the half laps on the frame itself. Alright, now it's time for the half lap joints that make the depth of the skeleton. And with the help of a clamp, I can set these in place. And it should pretty much square itself. And we'll just screw it in place. Alright, this is the last piece to go into the frame. I've already got the bottom side done, and two out of the 3 pieces for the top. So just a lot of glue and 2 screws per side to hold it while the glue sets. You just set it in place, pull this clamp back to it. And screw it down.